Hello and welcome to the Diwali special edition of Money, Money, Money. I'm your host, Surabhi Upadhyay. A whole year has gone by, would you believe it? And it has been a rather kind one for investors. Markets have been on a tear and we have all made it through some very, very trying times with respect to COVID. The big question now, as Diwali comes upon us, is how do you ensure that your wealth continues to multiply and grow? How do you preserve it the right way and survive the vagaries of the market? Because falls and a market rise, it's all part of life and part of the cycle. So let's discuss this forward. We have some very interesting wealth management ideas and investment tips coming your way for the next 1 year and beyond. My guests on the Diwali special are Feroze Aziz, Deputy CEO of Anand Rathi Private Wealth Management, and Ashish Shankar, MD and CEO of Motilal Oswal Private Wealth Management. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in. Season's greetings to you, first of all, and a very happy Diwali to you. You know, our viewers would love to know what to do now. And this Diwali is very interesting because we're all feeling very good with the markets being in a generous mode. But the question is, how do you ensure that your wealth continues to grow and multiply? How do you protect it? So I'll, set the ball rolling with some opening thoughts. Feroze, happy Diwali. You tell us, as you look back at the year, what are the first thoughts that come to mind?
Happy Diwali to you, Surabhi. Happy Diwali to Ashish and the viewers as well. I personally think if you look at somewhat 2077, there were several learnings. This was a year which was a very practical year. We speak of long-term investing in equity. Last year tested how we are able to create a balance between the heart and the mind. That's why it was a very interesting year. So key learnings to me personally and the clients whom we advise is to maintain the asset allocation during these times is very critical. And that's what we helped our investors do. That was one learning. Second is adequate medical cover, because God always has a bigger plan. Making sure that you have adequate medical cover was the second learning. Third is creating a smooth transition plan in case of eventualities. These are the sharp three learnings we are wanting to take passionately and implement for the HNI families we manage.
Oh, yes, absolutely wise words there. And we'll talk about a lot of this and how to make sure that it's incorporated in our wealth plans as we go forward as well. Ashish, season's greetings and happy Diwali to you as well. You tell us, I mean, it's been quite a roller coaster ride from an emotional point of view. Financially, it's been, easier to manage, I suppose. What do you think of when you look back at the last 12 months?
Yeah, Surabhi, season's greetings and happy Diwali to you and all your viewers and Feroze. Yes, it's been a very, very interesting year, to say the least. I think for me, the top three observations or learnings, the first is that nobody knows anything about anything beyond a point, right? I mean, all predictions you should take with a pinch of salt. And what this last 1 year has taught us is to maintain the discipline of asset allocation. So people who stayed invested in equities, they saw a complete roller coaster. They saw their portfolios going down and then coming up, and now they're doing extremely well. So people who stuck on actually did extremely well. Whereas people who got a bit rattled or tried to change their strategies probably lost out and had to relook at their strategies all over again. Second, it just showed us how resilient we are as human beings, like how resilient economies are. And it also showed us, the power of positivity and optimism. I mean, if you asked anybody, including me, last year as to what kind of picture we would paint for the end of somewhat 2078 or 2021 November, I don't think any of us in our wildest dream would have imagined the recovery to be so solid and so robust. The third thing is, I think, the coming of age of the millennials, the new gen investors, and the migration towards financial assets. I mean, for the longest, I think as a country, households across India have been big believers of physical assets or gold, and the penetration to financial assets was pretty low. This year, we've really seen the advent of financial assets in households, and it is growing. So these are some of my observations and learnings.
Sure, absolutely. I want to take up that part on millennials coming to the market in so many different ways. They were, they were into direct equity. They were obviously getting into mutual funds. They were buying cryptocurrencies. And this is a phenomenal new trend that has started. So Firoz, I mean, whether it was the families, HNI families that you were advising, or maybe they're Gen Z, today when you look at the market and you look at that risk-taking appetite, what's the advice that you'd put out to this new age investor who has lots of information at his or her disposal, but perhaps not the experience in the market? What's the advice that you'd put out?
Yes, Surabhi, both energy, risk appetite, experience, all of them are very, very critical in the business of managing money. So point one, my advice would be to not get too carried away with the emotion, the third emotion, which we call the fear of missing out, which I see is a very, very strong emotion in the millennials. So it doesn't matter what the rest of them are doing. Make sure that you have your plan. And that's the personal aspect of personal finance. That's one piece of advice. Second, risk appetite is good, but make sure that you're well informed. I've spoken to people who say I've been investing in cryptocurrencies, but if you ask them 2 or 3 other questions, they may not have answers to. So I personally think that doing more research when you have information in this day and age, it's very critical. Third is make sure that you also look at how do you rebalance across different asset classes. The falling in love with one asset class is not a good idea, and that's what you see in millennials, that they're not proportionately putting money in different asset classes. So these will be 3 pieces of advice to the new guys, almost about 10 million of them who joined the investor fraternity last calendar year, which is the data which I had from Bloomberg. That would be that small piece of advice.
Okay, well, I hope they're listening. We will talk about a lot of the traditional investments, and we will get the top mutual fund bets, by the way, from both our guests in just a moment. But before that, I want to talk about the new concepts that came in on the investment horizon this year. We got to know of ESG becoming mainstream, then there is investment into global equities, there is cryptocurrency, as I mentioned. A lot of new concepts, small case investing, a lot of new stuff came on the horizon. Of course, EV, these are big themes that people are talking about and they want to play. But for a serious investor, when you're talking about the medium term, let's say at least the next 5 years, which of these themes would you say is worth playing, and through what vehicle or instrument? I know I'm asking a complicated question and telling you to answer it quickly, but Ashish, you want to go first on this?
Sure. So a lot of the themes that you spoke about have, seen a lot of participation or a lot of interest. But amongst this, if you ask me one theme, Surabhi, which is here to stay, and people should definitely learn more about it and gradually increase their exposure, is the ESG theme. The reason I'm saying this, Surabhi, is because it's a universal theme and it doesn't constrict itself to any particular sector, because ESG is all about investing in companies which are environment friendly, which care about the environment around them, sustainability, and of course, governance. So if you tick off the ESG box, right, you're very clear that the companies qualifying under ESG are high quality and they probably have longevity on their side. So this is one theme which is here to stay. A lot of global family offices, Indian family offices are increasingly checking their investments to see whether they're ESG compliant. So that's definitely one thing which is going to grow, Surabhi.
Okay, so ESG, I'm going to come back to you, Ashish, and ask you to name a fund through which one can play this theme. I'll come back on that in just a moment. But Firoz, for you, what is the standout theme that needs to be sort of played through over the next couple of years? And by the way, what do you say to people who are investing in crypto? Whoever didn't jump on the crypto bandwagon end up feeling a little foolish or not so smart in their peer group, right? So what do you say to that whole part of it?
No, I think those people who have missed out the crypto rally, so-called, I would say there's no reason for you to worry at all, because crypto, of course, there are several stocks with risks, half the risk, which have done twice as better than crypto. So crypto as a currency or an asset has not established itself, is why there's so much volatility and the whole legal question mark. I don't think countries will give away their right to print money. That's very dear to them. And I personally think crypto has not established itself as an asset. Is there price movement? There is price movement. So don't worry about that. There are 4 established asset classes: gold, equity, real estate, and debt. These 4 are good enough for somebody to make 13-15% return over long periods of time. That should take care. When it comes to themes, of course, like Ashish said, ESG is a theme to stay. I personally think consumerism as a theme in India is something which I would like to play. given the kind of pent-up demand in the economy and the kind of increase in paychecks which is happening and the inflation which is happening, I think that's one theme which is underspoken about. And the financial services also is one theme which may not be new, but could be profitable.
All right, got that, gentlemen. Stay on, we have lots more questions. We'll take a break, but on the other side, there's a lot of talk about interest rates possibly rising. Inflation is up. Markets have already run up a lot. So how do you make sure your portfolio stays balanced? And which are the mutual funds to look at in the new Samvat? We discuss this after the break.